episode 55 of Grace and Steel. I'm Kevin Steele.
And I'm Kevin Michael Grace.
And tonight we're talking about the first Trump versus Clinton presidential debate. We're talking about it because, well, that just happened, as the kids like to say. And because, let's face it, it's impossible to ignore. This was the most watched political debate in American history. Super Bowl territory in terms of viewership. So, together we all laughed, we cried, we cheered. Some called others racists, others called others incompetent. Still others said, what is with this moderator? So let's get on with it. Kevin, who do you think won this debate?
I think that Donald Trump won the debate. I'll go into this a little more detail. I should mention that I have a surprise for you.
Oh, okay. This is a true surprise, unrehearsed. Okay. Fire away.
Well, I have a guest lined up for later on the show. His name is Josh Kramer, and of course you'll recognize him from his well-known site, 667.com. Now, he's going to be doing double duty as both a meta-analyst of the polls and as a fact-checker, and this is going to be good. I know he's raring to go because I spoke to him a couple of hours ago, and he promised me, quote, I'm going to fact check the shit out of that debate.
Okay. And how is he joining us?
Actually, that was a joke.
Okay, good. Because you had my technical head going bing, 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 bing. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? Hang on. Okay, sorry. Ha, 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 ha. Just get over my panic here. I'll be able to laugh. Okay, go ahead.
I think that Trump won the debate.
Mm-hmm.
I have to mention that this opinion is obviously going to be a minority opinion amongst those people in the media, and I suppose we are in the media because
okay. So
the media is, in the tank for Hillary. I mean, we know this. I mean, it's not a question of them being in the tank. It seems to be that, they've become pod people for her. I mentioned on Twitter, despite myself, I found myself live blogging.
Live tweeting.
The debate. Live tweeting the debate. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like that. And again, despite myself, I was truly surprised, even shocked by how biased Lester Holt's so-called moderation of the debate was. Look, he started off by talking about how great the American economy had done since 2008, which coincidentally was the year that Obama was elected president.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the American economy has not done great since 2008. Trump did allude to this later on when he talked about the Fed, Janet Yellen.
Right, yeah.
And the bubble that was created in equities.
Mm-hmm.
But, the subtext of Lester Holt's opening comment was, hey, why do we even need Donald Trump? Because America is already great and getting greater.
Yeah. We need an Obama third term.
Now, okay, so, I watched, what was I watching? I was watching ABC. And it's funny that in their introduction to the debate started, about 8:05, something like that?
Yeah, it was pretty quick after the opening.
Yeah,
house.
And so they had Hillary recorded saying that she was looking forward to debating Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And she sounded absolutely demented saying this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is these attempts when she attempts to sound enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's not her strong suit, that's for sure.
And then I switched over to NBC because I thought that might be better. And, of course, they're letting us know that, of course, Hillary is the one that's got everything going for her. And, Trump is this madman. And then Lester Holt, he's with NBC, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not an American.
He had his thumb on the scale the whole time. And then afterwards, they brought in their talking heads, someone saying that, Nicole Wallace, saying that, there were high standards for Hillary to meet, and she met them. Donald Trump, on the other hand, very low standards for him. And then she went on to imply heavily that voters are stupid because look at Trump. I mean, he's making a race out of this, you know. And then Tom Brokaw, the grand old man of the American media, came on to talk about, her Hillary's, command of detail, which is, Trump had one of the great lines, perhaps the best line of the night, when he said that Hillary has lots of experience, but it's bad experience.
Yeah, that was a good line. His lines, at least, were. I was watching a hashtag called Debate Night, and a lot of people on there, a lot of women on there for Hillary, and mangina types thought this line of her going "Whoa" was the line of the night, which I thought was kind of surprising.
Okay, we're going to jump into that.
Well, I just want to point out something that I was watching CBS, and immediately after the debate ended, they actually said that Hillary appeared to be looking at notes down on her podium. So in terms of command of detail, I think it's important that at least somebody said that, and I was actually impressed that CBS, pointed that out. They didn't bring it up again, but at least they pointed out that she did appear to be reading off of notes, something that Trump wasn't doing. So,
well, the reason that I was surprised that Lester Holt's moderation was so biased was because we saw this, especially in the early stages of the Republican primary campaign, when the moderator and the other candidates and the media was just ganged up on Trump. And this played in Trump's favor. And I think that we're going to see a similar effect from tonight. But let me ask you, first of all, did you think that the moderation was as biased as I did?
I didn't notice it right off the top. I mean, I did retweet your tweet where you itemized it, items where he had let Hillary off quite easy. You have to agree on second thought, but I really wasn't paying that close attention. I was watching Hillary mostly the whole time, even while Trump was speaking.
I tweeted out, Lester Holt did not demand Hillary defend 1, Benghazi, 2, email server, 3, Clinton Foundation, 4, her 9/11 collapse and pneumonia. Because practically everything that Holt said was demanding that Trump defend himself from some charge. And then when he talked to Hillary, well, Trump said this. So, okay, now's your opportunity to attack.
Yeah, he did that with the birtherism. He did it with his taxes. He did it with Trump saying about Hillary not having the proper demeanor or temperament or look. That's what they were splitting hairs about again. There was a bit of that spurgy, fact-checking that I did notice the moderator.
Hillary twice appealed directly to my fact-checkers to save her from meanie Trump. And I'm going to have to say that this, I quoted Claude Coburn, the famous late English journalist, a couple of days ago. This ridiculous assumption that, facts, well, we'll just have to gather the facts as if they're pebbles on the beach waiting to be collected. That's not how the world works. That's not how it's ever worked. But there were a couple of times, and I'm sure people noticed this, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot about it, that when Trump seemed to have Hillary in a bind, that she got this goofy grin.
Yeah, it got goofier through the night. That's true. I did notice that. I was watching her the whole time. So.
The second time that it happened, we got that whoa from her.
Yeah.
Then an outburst from her supporters.
Yeah. But I think Trump got in a few more actual zingers than just whoa. And she got in a couple as well, a couple of good shots. Devastated her in this debate. But I think that he held his own. I think that a lot of his supporters were looking for a knockout blow. And I did address this in previous podcasts where I thought that maybe we were setting the bar too low for Hillary by saying that if she manages to stand and stay coherent throughout the debate, that she wins, But, you can't get past the fact that she's a terrible candidate. That's all, All the fact checkers in the world can't.
Well, I want to talk about how I think that Trump failed. during the debate. I don't think he failed overall. As I've said, I think that he won. He talked about niceness all the time and being, presidential and not responding to Hillary's attacks. And in the second half of the debate, particularly the last third, the attacks from Hillary were relentless. That Trump hates women,
Racist.
that he's a racist with a pattern of racism or whatever. And I think that Trump would have been much better off not turning the other cheek, as he largely did. I think that he got bogged down in these discussions of his tax returns.
Yeah.
He starts talking about banks. You could talk to banks and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was all just gas. I thought that. That was it. My eyes glaze over moments. There were a few of those.
But he did win. He did triumph in that this absolutely revolting business from Hillary, that suddenly she is the fearsome enemy of the 1% and the champion of the middle class.
Yeah, she's
Oigevalt. If people believe that, they'll believe anything.
Well, she's trying to save the Saunders voters, and I think it's largely working. I mean, they've got nothing else to hope for if they are hardcore lefties, right? Because they won't go for Trump. And so she's trying to pull them in. She's trying to get the enthusiasm going on her side. I don't know whether she's capable of doing that, because she's not really an exciting speaker.
Well, part of the problem is that man who's hired for being controversial has said controversial things in past. Oh, I never saw that one coming.
Yeah. But again, this whole fact checker bit, we had talked about, what it's like, and it's like that is previous to recording here on our podcast. And that's a bit like, the fishwife attack, right? They come back and they say, oh, you got this little detail wrong. Therefore, your entire argument and your entire campaign is null and void.
Well, it's a shrill female argument.
Yeah.
A man says to his wife, you've got to get your finances in control, that you've pushed us into overdraft territory 6 times in the last year. And then 20 minutes later, she says 4 times. What are you talking about? I checked. It was only 4 times. Aha. See, you've been destroyed. Your point is invalid. I mean, the New York Times said a few days ago, they had this list of the lies that Trump has told in the last week. And Trump said that Hillary or her people had iPhones destroyed. Well, they weren't iPhones, buddy. They were BlackBerries. Trump destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see this, because this fact-checking business has got completely out of control. It's mendacious and it's pernicious, and I think that it is almost entirely lost its validity.
Yeah, for serious thinkers, but I think for your base, if she wants to hang on to her base, I mean, these are the last desperate straws. That's the thing what that does, right? I mean, they're trying to appeal to the moral authority that they had as shitlibs or SJWs, and this does work for them. Like I say, I was watching this debate night hashtag, and it was just about all women, and a few men, but it was it was just, oh wow, Trump totally destroyed. Oh, roll my eyes. I can't believe that this man is even a candidate. Stuff like this just over and over again. Oh, Trump lied. Here's the truth. Blah, blah, blah. Linked to some New York Times story, that kind of thing.
Now, I want to mention that I think that Trump really scored heavily at the beginning by talking up tariffs. I think this was a tremendous strategy, and he pulled it off well.
Yeah.
That Hillary, oh yeah, we're just going to make things better. Everyone's going to get better jobs, Well, how is that going to happen when American companies have a vested interest in offshoring? How is that going to happen? And he pushed for tariffs.
Right.
In response, Hillary called for America to become, and I'm not making this up, a, quote, clean energy superpower. My solar panels.
Yeah, we did nail that.
And then she talked about, wait for it, innovation. Be more smarter, people.
Yeah, I told you that the innovation is simply, that's the new go-to word because green jobs failed. So, let's change it to.
No, she mentioned a clean energy superpower. This is the kind of, that is so revealing about Hillary, because this is the type of wank that these people really think is great stuff. Oh, clean energy superpower. You remember it used to be a war against everything? War on drugs,
Oh, yeah.
war on cancer, war on this, war on that. But no, we have to become a superpower, and we'll need czars to make us a superpower. Because that worked so well for the empires of Russia and Germany and Austria, having czars.
Czar sounds powerful, though. It does.
Yeah. I think that NAFTA, Hillary was really squirming about this. Don't you think?
She is. And I think it was just around the end of it, Trump got in the first zinger of the night, which I kind of liked. She walked into it. I couldn't believe she actually walked into this. She said, by the end of the night, I'm going to be blamed for everything. The last 20 years.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Trump shot
Why not?
back. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, first zinger. That one goes in his column. Yeah, I really couldn't believe she walked into that one. But maybe that's just, that she's not a particularly great debater.
Now, I mentioned I wasn't happy with Trump's response to the tax returns issue. But then he brought up...
Can I just stop for a second here?
Yeah.
It just occurred to me that's kind of a womanly thing to say, isn't it?
What?
By the end of the night, everything's going to be my fault, isn't it?
It is. It is, actually.
Sorry, I didn't notice it till just now. Oh, man. Okay. Sorry. Continue. Tax returns.
Yeah, I don't think Trump did a particularly good job with that. He did bring up the 33,000 deleted emails.
Yeah.
And this was the first occasion on which she had her head off to the side and she was grinning inanely. Of course, Lester Holt decided not to follow up on that one. Now,
CBS noted that Trump should have probably gone back there because they thought that was a significant hit. It was the only time he really mentioned the emails, I think, at that point, is what they said anyway. I mean,
well, this won't be the last time to bring it up.
No, it won't. But it was the only time that night.
It won't be. Hillary went on and on about bankruptcy, and I think this is going to hurt her. Because she doesn't understand the country that she lives in.
She's pretending.
She obviously has no idea of how many individuals in the United States claim bankruptcy, or of how many businesses claim bankruptcy, or of how many very successful businesses have been through numerous bankruptcies and reorganizations. And then she implied very heavily that, Trump's not the winner that you think that he is, because we don't know how much money he has. Maybe he's not that rich at all.
Yeah.
This just comes off as sounding petty and envious. Like Hillary, I made my money the old-fashioned way. I stole it.
Right. Well,
whereas Trump, this vulgar parvenu with his businesses.
Well, there were two big holes, at least from what I saw in terms of the advertising campaigns the one from Hillary was that I thought when he started talking offshore, she was going to try to zing him with that clip that they're using in a commercial where they talk about him offshoring his ties and things like this. So that was missing. As far as Trump not bringing something up, he never mentioned the Clinton Foundation once. No. And I thought that was significant. So that was like, okay, that's kind of a hole on either side, a draw there. But that was about all. I think they all managed to repeat their attacks. Hillary repeated her attacks almost word for word, which I thought was kind of dry, But maybe she's...
Sam Schulman sent me this story from February 6, 2016 from the New York Times that begins, as Hillary Clinton fights off intense criticism over her ties to Wall Street, a central question has gone unanswered. Has she ever taken any action that favored the financial industry? And she responded, anybody who knows me, who thinks they can influence me, name anything they've influenced me on. Just name one thing. Well, one thing was named, which was her vote in 2001 to make it harder for Americans to wipe out their debts through bankruptcy.
Okay. How did she respond to
And
that?
of course, the Sanders campaign brought this up, and she responded by calling this a veiled personal attack,
Oh, okay.
as one would expect her to.
It's all personal with her, isn't it?
But yeah, it's all personal. The personal is the political with her, and also the sociological, phenomenological, et cetera, et cetera. It never stops.
In a sense, this debate, seeing them Hillary on the stage for that long, kind of gave me a sense of what Hillary supporters are going through when they see Donald Trump, because I don't think I could stand 8 years of listening to that woman. So they must be massively triggered with Donald Trump. I mean,
Well, again, Trump did score, but I think he could have scored more in this respect. This constant reiteration of, I've traveled to 112 countries. Who gives a toss?
Well, that was when I thought he'd bring up the foundation. Yeah, you went around collecting bribes. That's all you were doing. We can tell by the records.
I was waiting for her. My joke that she's going to boast that she knows the name of the Secretary of Commerce for all 240, the world's countries.
Yeah, there was that. But it didn't happen.
Now, let's talk about racism, because I suspected that she might play the race card, but I was rather surprised, that this turned out to be like the OJ trial. And so let's talk about race. And right out of the box, the police must be reformed.
Oh, yeah, she did step in it here, didn't she? This was probably her biggest mistake of the night. Yeah.
And so Trump talks up law and order, and he uses that phrase, law and order, again and again. And given the events of the last couple of years, this is powerful. And also, this is a direct quote from Trump: the people most affected by what is happening are African American and Hispanic people. That is a tremendous hit. And Hillary, she just talks about process. Oh, no, we're going to bring in the experts. And, we're going to see what's can be done to deal with this bias. Systemic bias is a problem for everyone. In other words, we are all guilty. And then, guess what? It turns out the police have mental problems.
Well, let's say I don't think she turned any Trump voters with that. Now, don't think she turned away any of her own, but it certainly was cringeworthy. I think that this will probably be ignored by the MSM, but
well, as
remains to be seen.
I am not a fan of modern policing methods, in particular the militarization of the police, the us against them attitude, or this idea that they're the last legion. Now, in the police's defense, a lot of this has been forced upon them by deteriorating conditions. And given the extraordinary deterioration that has happened in America since Ferguson, this isn't the time to talk about that. Because if law and order breaks down, and it appears to have largely broken down in the inner cities of America, then we're looking at a situation which is close to anarchy. And I stole a line from you when Hillary kept it. I don't know why she does this. The great achievements of blackity, black.
Right.
Oh, let's talk about Howard University grads or whatever. Well, if conditions in Black America are so great, as Hillary insists, why does Black Lives Matter even exist?
Exactly. That's my line. Sorry.
Yes, that is your line. And
I
I
put my
give
stamp
you,
on it there.
I give you full credit.
Thank you, Kevin Michael
But
Grace.
I don't think that Hillary's approach works with white people, Hispanics, or Black people. Everyone knows there is a huge problem. And I think that Trump maybe has gone out of his comfort zone. Not his comfort zone. It's not traditional for Republican candidates to talk about the problem so candidly. I mean, usually let's enterprise zones. Let's unleash the free market on the inner city. This sort of nonsense.
That's right. If they all owned their own houses, things would be much better.
Trump went to the heart of the matter that without law and order, nothing else is possible. Systemic racism, Hillary, systemic bias. And, Trump doubled down on the stop and frisk. Stop and frisk is clearly unconstitutional. On the other hand, these check stops looking for drunk drivers are clearly unconstitutional as well. Well, they were until Rehnquist, the great conservative hero, decided that, they're unconstitutional on the face of it, but drunk driving is really bad. I mean, stop and frisk works. There is no question about that.
That's why it's unconstitutional.
So Trump doubled down on the stop and frisk, and Hillary doubled down on the oppression narrative.
Well, the problem Hillary has here with this is that, if race relations are... She kept saying, well, we just got to liaise better with the communities, with these communities, rather than riling them up like Donald Trump does. We just got to be nice with them and get them to work with us to turn in all the bad guys or something like this. I mean, if this isn't happening under President Obama, it's not going to happen under her. That's the problem.
Well, yes, we've had 8 years nearly of President Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
And things have gotten worse.
Yeah, so it's not going to get better.
He's America's first black president. So if he wasn't up to the challenge, why would anyone think that Hillary would be up to the challenge?
Yeah, that's the problem she has with the status quo, by defending the status quo. Or I would say the liberal approach. I mean, Trump is attacking this from a grand perspective. We have a big problem and we have to do things differently. That, I think, plays particularly well in the United States right now. And, Hillary, she's got that problem. She's just not a dynamic enough person to make a sale on the current system. So,
no, but I mean, she doesn't. Her idea is let's do the same things that we've been doing since the 1960s, but we're going to do more of them. And it's going to be more expensive. And I guess we can sick the Department of Justice on every police force in America that's bigger than, say, the police force that Mayberry RFD had.
What did you think about all this gab about tax plan? My tax plan is better than your tax plan. No, my tax plan actually is better because it's going to do this. I mean, I just tuned right out at that point. I don't know. I don't think this is a presidential election about taxes at all. But I'm not the States.
I think that Hillary repeated this $5 trillion deficit business, which I think helped her.
Right.
Trump repeated that she was going to raise taxes and that she was going to vastly increase regulation, and that was good for him.
The regulation part, I think, worked for him. Yeah.
I mean, these projections, even the projections from the Congressional Budget Office or whatever it's called, they're known to be biased. Once again, there is no model that we can push any of these plans through. And, we've determined how much this is going to cost or benefit the economy, down to about $100 either way. That's just not possible. So I don't know that it benefits either of the candidates.
Right.
Now, I think that the question of Hillary's health came up a little bit during the campaign.
You mean the debate?
Sorry, during the debate.
Yeah.
And Trump had the opportunity for a knockout line, which he missed, which Hillary said, and I'm paraphrasing, "I've taken so long off the campaign trail because I'm preparing to be president." And Trump could have responded, "You've had your whole life to prepare to be president. This is what you have wanted for decades. And now you have to stop campaigning in order to do that?"
Well, maybe that thing that happened on 9/11 was she was preparing to be the president when she was shot, because, I mean, she was basically falling down at that point. That's why she took the time off, because she was falling down. If that's preparing to be the president, I don't know.
Hillary hit the birther issue really hard. I don't
that was
think that
bad
this
news.
helps. I don't think this helps her at all.
No.
I really don't. We know that her campaign was heavily involved in this. And quite frankly, when Trump says that I forced Obama to produce the long-form birth certificate, the reaction of any reasonable person would be, why didn't he just quell the debate earlier by producing this document?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. I don't think it helps either of them, really. But I mean, she is trying to emphasize the fact that he is racist. She wants
The racist lie. Why is it a racist lie? It was brought up quite a bit during the campaign and would have been brought up quite a bit if things had turned out differently, that Ted Cruz was born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and in the opinion of many people, myself included, is prohibited from becoming president of the United States. Was that racist, bringing up Calgary?
Well, Calgary is in my province, and I can tell you, being in the rival city of Edmonton, that Calgarians are actually their own race.
Okay.
Sorry.
But
a little local humor for...
yes. Yes.
Thanks. Try the veal. Okay.
Racist, yes. Racist. And bringing up this lawsuit against Trump's real estate activities. Look, I don't think that this helps Hillary. I suppose it helps Hillary with some people. Mm-hmm. Americans, you know how many Americans are sued? Do you know how routine it is for any business to be sued?
Yeah.
I mean, even if they are not sued, you know, I worked at a radio station in San Diego, and there was a black man there. No, sorry, not a black man, a Hispanic man named Raul Lowry Contreras, who was up for a full-time job with the radio station. He didn't get it. He filed a complaint with the EEOC accusing the station of racial bias, and it was a entirely bogus claim because, they didn't care what race anyone was. I knew this from the inside, and it's so bloody obvious. All you care about are the ratings. I was told that the radio station had to spend $10,000 in legal fees dealing with this. American business is crippled by this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Any business of more than 15, with more than 15 employees in the United States is subject to these crippling regulations. And people who work for a living are sick of it.
Yeah, they want to get back to the meritocracy. That's part of, I guess, making America great again. But that's gonna take some major earth moving for that to happen.
Now, I'm
talking about affirmative action.
I want to talk about this, the cyber wars. Woo, cyber wars.
Oh yeah.
And so Hillary, she wants a intelligence surge. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, what is Paul Wells writing her material?
You got to remember, this lady, doesn't know how to use a computer. I mean, that's pretty much on the record, right? So, and she doesn't know what the heck's going on.
This is a woman,
yeah,
who conspired, I think we can use that word, to have an illegal and unsecure private email server, dealing with top secret State Department data. Mm-hmm. And, oh, no, it must be the Russians who hacked the DNC. Mm. Yeah, the Russians. Because apparently some guy living in the Balkans, named Guccifer. Apparently some guy who is, I don't know, what's her daughter's name? What's the dog name? What's the birthday? I'm just going to try, passwords based on limited personal information. Let's try 7th attempt. Bingo, I'm in.
Yeah. That I thought was the weakest. And I don't think Trump parried, didn't drive it home very well. I mean, he did mention Wasserman Schultz, and he did raise the point that they don't really know who did this. So why blame it on the Russians? But he got kind of sidetracked there. At one point, he started talking about his son being able to use a computer, his 10-year-old son. And I'm thinking where he's going with this. Oh, he's not going anywhere with it. He just
Well,
mentions
Hillary
it.
mentioned that it was her grandchild's second birthday.
Yeah, I know. But
And some woman called Maria, was that her name?
who was that? Sorry.
The woman that Trump had insulted?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I gave
Maria,
her
did she work in the cafeteria?
cafeteria. Yeah,
That's this episode's obligatory community reference.
that's right. I'll
For
link to it.
all our fans.
Jeff Winger giving a speech for class president. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
But, I mean, the obvious question is if cybersecurity, if the cybersecurity of the United States has just fallen apart, again, who was president when this happened?
Mm-hmm.
Who was Secretary of State? Well, that's Obama and Hillary,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And she lauded the work of John Kerry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe he could have done something about this critical cybersecurity problem.
Well, that prompted a rather strange response from. Well, no, I'm thinking back to the attack on Hillary because of the server. She gave that a Clinton-esque line. I call it Clinton-esque because I recall it mostly from Janet Reno during Bill Clinton's tenure. So I guess it's Reno-esque, where she took full responsibility for her server. And, of course, this is just a meaningless statement. You know, you take full responsibility for it. So what does that mean?
Well, there's an old
nothing.
joke going back to, 1972 or 73. I forget who made it. Not relevant. That Nixon kept taking responsibility for various aspects of Watergate. And the joke was, yes, I'm taking responsibility, but not the blame.
Yeah. So, yeah, nobody really knows what that means. But, you know, she said that, but I don't think she put a rest to it. That's for sure. You know, the issue is still there and it's pretty raw. So I thought Trump did a pretty good job of off the cuff sort of recapping those events, you know, summarizing those events. I have to give him credit for that. He managed to do that on his feet, though, you know, one gets used to seeing him speak on the podium off the cuff at the rallies, and you expect some of that here, but it ain't the same thing. So that's a pointless observation, I realize, but go ahead.
I think another low point with Hillary talking about the war on terror, or whatever we're calling it these days, is her idea that apparently the secret to winning this is to unleash the Muslim nations to win it.
Oh, yeah.
And my joke was perhaps she could pick up some pointers from her Wahhabist friends in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Quote, this is a quote from Hillary Clinton. We need to be cooperating with Muslim nations. Oh, I don't know, like Syria, for instance.
Well, Yemen got mentioned.
Why are America, Canada, Britain, et al. So determined to break up Syria, to push out Assad, especially given that what's our ally in Syria? Oh, the Al-Nusra Front, which is, wait for it, Al-Qaeda. That's who we are supporting in Syria, Al-Qaeda.
Well,
That is how crazy our Middle East policy in the West is, that we are literally supporting Al-Qaeda in Syria. I could point out that Syria did some favors for the United States after 9/11. For instance, extraordinary renditions. Yeah, we have some people that we want kidnapped and tortured, and for various legal reasons that we don't want to get into, we don't want this done on American soil or American military bases. So, President Assad, would you do us a solid? Yes, sure, anything to help America after 9/11. And what's the payback he gets?
Well, it's almost as if somebody in a place like the Pentagon wants to finish off this Assad so he don't do no talking. Now, that's a conspiracy theory, I realize, but I mean, the policy over there has just been so weird. I can't understand why they've been so harsh on this destabilization of Syria and getting rid of Assad now. I have no other answer for it other than wild conspiracies.
Yeah, I don't. Again, these people have been running the show for a long time. The experts You know, the smart guys and gals, the Samantha Powers of the world, that crazy Irish banshee. Kill, 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 kill. Let's kill a whole bunch of Muslims. And let's, Saudi Arabia wants to just lay waste to Yemen, and we'll help them out. And what, this is going to win us friends with the Muslims? This is absolutely crazy that we bomb them again and again and again and destabilize their countries. And hey, Muslims, come on into America, because there's no reason for you to be angry with us or anything like that.
It's almost like they don't want to address any root causes. I recall that phrase from post 9/11 days. The root causes.
Yes, was it Justin Trudeau very big on that phrase?
Root causes?
Yeah.
After 9/11, was he?
Well, no, I think that after the Boston Marathon bombing.
Ah, okay, yeah.
We don't want to rush to judgment here.
Yeah, got to deal with the root causes. Well, maybe bombing is one of them. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so Hillary says again that we don't want someone, with the finger on the nuclear button who can be provoked by a tweet.
Ah. Okay, I got to stop you here. I just got to stop you here because this is the kind of thing I've dealt with before in my life, and I realized that from watching Hillary tonight repeat these lines over and over again, that this is kind of a shitlib way of arguing, right? They take something that you've said, exaggerate it, point to you and say you're crazy, right? I mean, they this is what they do. This is just matter of form, And I just want to add quickly here, another phrase they all use, and I've even had people in conversation use this to me. Words matter. That seems to be a catchphrase. She used it.
Didn't Hillary say that tonight?
That's right. She did. And I thought, oh, fuck. Here comes the tone. Yeah, words matter. Okay, words matter. So
what did she say about Gaddafi? You remember those words?
Yeah.
Do you remember them?
Yes. Yeah, we came.
Yeah, what were they?
We came, we saw, he died.
Ha, 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 ha. Cackling like a supervillain. Do those words matter?
Yeah, but words matter. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to say that, right? Of course they matter. They matter how much.
Not in the gotcha sense. They don't really matter.
Yeah.
But I mean, this provoked by a tweet. This is Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. Delete your account.
Yeah.
You have gone too far, sir. You should leave Twitter in shame. In shame, sir.
Yeah.
Provoked by a tweet. How about provoked by a poll? Oh. People are saying, shouldn't I be 50 points up in this race? Ah!
Yeah, that was not a good video. Mind you, she didn't drag that Hillary out tonight. And I was telling you just prior to the debate, what I was looking for was I was really curious as to which Hillary showed up tonight. And it was the smirking one, the one that...
there was a lot of smirking.
Yeah, it was the smirking one. It wasn't the Harridan. So who knows? I'm hoping we'll see the other one in the next debate because this one wasn't that entertaining. But at any rate, I would probably call the debate a lot closer than you are. I don't know how far you're going in saying that Trump won. On a scale of...
Well, let's look at it in this sense. If you agree for the sake of argument that Americans are looking for change, what does the debate tell you about the candidate best suited to bring about change?
Yes, that's right. That is right. And I mean, I was, like I say, crippled by the fact that I was watching this hashtag as I was watching the television, known to be dominated by Hillary supporters. Now, how long they're going to be able to keep this up, I don't know. I mean...
Well, again, to steal a joke from Tom Wolfe, Hillary kept attempting to drag Trump into the Ibid thickets. Citations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This endless conversation about NATO. Oh, and that Donald Trump has been mean to NATO members, for instance, like Canada, like suggesting that maybe Canada should stop mouthing off about, how NATO is going to set Russia to rights when Canada pays very, very little indeed toward NATO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sound in principle.
It's
clear in practice.
Who cares? I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, what purpose does NATO serve?
What purpose?
Yeah, what purpose does it serve?
Well, doesn't it run the dew line, or is that just canon?
The dew line.
Don't you remember the dew line?
Yeah, I remember
the
the dew line.
geodesic domes.
Yeah, I think were you going to be talking about the joke that you heard on Laugh-In next?
That's right. The dew line. Well, no, actually, there is a station, television station that runs old documentaries, and they did have one on the dew line. I think a couple of months back, where they also interviewed Buckminster Fuller, the guy who made the geodesic dome.
Yes,
designed it. So that's why it came to mind. But NATO,
DEW standing for distant early warning
system. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was in case the Ruskies sent bombs over the pole rather than from the moon. So,
I think that Trump scored a real winner when he said we cannot be the policeman of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what, since the Second World War, this idea of the United States being the policeman of the world, and that sort of fell away after Vietnam, right?
Well, is this a winner with you, or do you think it was a winner with, say, independence? I know that's something that you agree with.
It's 15 years since 9/11, and the United States has been regime changing like crazy, bombing all of these countries. And how has it benefited the United States? Trump talked about the United States $20 trillion in debt, with $6 trillion of that being pissed away by these Middle East adventures.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, you can do,
as he said,
even these days, $6 trillion is a lot of money.
Well, I think that's where he scored his point when he said that, we could have fixed our country 2 times over with that, because he did hook it into, I think, infrastructure at that point. So I think it was effective in that sense.
Well, no, I mean, it was, he made a very good point when he said it would be one thing to be $20 trillion in debt if that money had been spent for useful purposes. Mm. But it has not been spent for useful purposes.
Yeah, actually, I think I did see a tweet somebody as they were flying by on that hashtag. Somebody did agree with Trump that didn't like Trump. They did agree with him on the airports. He said, they are third world airports compared to the rest of the world. So, yeah, we did, the fact is, if they had new roads and they had new bridges and they were in debt, if everything were fixed up, I think that was an effective point. But no knockout blow. I didn't see. That wasn't a knockout.
Again, knockout blow. Even if there were a knockout blow, I mean, let's look at this literally. If one of the candidates appeared to stagger, mm-hmm. or his or her mouth was hanging open for 15 seconds while no sound came out, mm-hmm. that could be seen to be a knockout blow.
Right.
But in the absence of that, you're going to have all of this endless argument and fact-checking mm-hmm. about what was a knockout blow. Yeah. I mean, this term has been, it's like smoking gun. It's like this word destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? It is used so often that it has largely become meaningless.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the post-debate spin is going to be, but I know that the team that will actually win this debate is the one that's going to be most realistic about their performance, at least in terms of their supporters. If Trump gets some criticism here, I think he deserves it. I don't think Hillary's going to get any criticism because, I believe they actually set the bar pretty low for her. So the fact that she stood up, they're going to try to sell this as every, demonic grin that she had, the rictus grin on her face. Skull type grin, was
anything less than her recreating the elevator scene from The Shining on stage was going to be seen mm-hmm. as her exceeding expectations.
Right. Yeah.
But again, I don't like this expectations, this meta talk. Mm-hmm. I find it offensive and useless. I will apologize to listeners if I have indulged in it myself.
Oh, is that your way of saying shut up, Kevin?
No. No. Let's talk about what they said and what they believe in, what mm-hmm. they plan to do. not this endless talk about, oh, well, so and so anticipated that the other person was going to say this, and they parried this with, ugh. This is what has got us into this mess, with a bunch of smartasses saying you didn't deliver a knockout blow.
All right. I take your point. But no, I mean, this is still in the spirit of debate. Just debate, political debate, raw sport, political sport. That's what a lot of people will look at this from the perspective of. And, they're going to either exaggerate their favorites' victories into knockout blows, or they're going to, ignore the other candidates' hits. But I think the team that's going to be most realistic about how this debate went down will actually come out the winner, because there are two more to go. And so I think actually what happens between the next two debates will be more important, because I think that Hillary's going to get run off her feet. But that's just my feeling.
Well, I got a final question for you. I was gobsmacked, as they say in England, by Lester Holt's final question. Will you accept defeat if the other candidate wins? What the hell was that all about?
Oh, yeah. Now, you want to talk about conspiracy tinfoil hat, Kevin Steele's tinfoil hat going, blue, blue. Yeah, that was the one, eh? Yeah, that was like that primary debate, will you accept the winner, as the nominee, right? Going back to that question, right? Back when everybody thought that Trump was going to be a third-party candidate, right? I mean, now, of course, what I was thinking was, okay, so what are they going to throw this thing? They're going to cheat and nobody's going to say anything? Is that what you want? Are you trying to push somebody into a corner there? I don't know. Why would you say that? Why would you bring this question up? But is that what you want me to say?
I mean, there's a clear implication there,
right,
of some sort of cheating or skullduggery by the Trump campaign.
By the Trump campaign?
I mean, who is not going to accept defeat? When has that ever happened?
Well, they talked about
Bush versus Gore. Mm-hmm. Well, the question was in doubt, right? Nixon, who was not exactly a guy who gave up easily, he accepted the election being stolen in 1960. Mm-hmm. It really left me breathless. Mm-hmm. I've got to give Lester Holt credit for, unlike some obvious creep like Chuck Todd, that Lester Holt just seems like the best-mannered, respectable person alive, doesn't he? With that receding hairline and those glasses and his mild manner of speech.
Well, he did get run over quite a bit in the debate and lose control of it several times, I thought. But
well, no, he did. And Hillary says, I want something to add. And so she steals time. And then Trump says, I want to respond to that. And he says, make it quick.
Make it 25 seconds.
Well, look, if you had control of this debate, then this problem wouldn't have arisen. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things that led to Trump having problems, was that he was desperate to make up time that he didn't anticipate that he would need to make up.
Right.
And which led to this circular talking from him.
Now, one of the things right at the end of the CBS, right at the end of the debate, CBS post-debate comments, was that this got way out of hand, that Hillary Clinton went particularly negative on Trump. And, well, yeah, like I said, to be fair, I was expecting them to be a lot harder on Trump, but they weren't. They noted that both candidates went negative, but they had to admit that it was Hillary that was calling Donald Trump more of the names, right? And they did notice that she was calling him Donald, and he was addressing her as Secretary Clinton and this kind of thing. So she was, I would say, attacking more in a non-substantive way than he was attacking her. So
no, that's true. This racism thing. I think that I might be scared to be in the same room as Mike Tyson and Don King.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump is friends with both of them. And that suggests to me that he doesn't have a problem with people who are black, particularly people who are, well, like really black.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that this racism charge, I think it's going to hurt her, frankly.
But it's hanging onto your base. I mean, one thing I do know about shitlibs, having been friends, and have friends that are like that, they claim to be widely read and they claim to want to hear your opinion. But when you send them the opinion and you send them links and things to read, they ignore it. They don't want to hear it. They want to hear what Hillary Clinton is saying. They want to hear Hillary say that Donald Trump's a racist. And that's as far as they want to go. That's all. So, I mean, it's for your base only that she's doing this.
So let's wrap this up. And I'm going to use a boxing metaphor. We're going to score this using a boxing metric, which is the 10-point system, that the winner gets 10 points and the loser gets anywhere from, 1 to 9. Mm-hmm. How do you score the debate?
The 10-point must system. Well, if I have to give Donald Trump 10, I have to give Hillary 7 or 8. She hung in there.
Pick one.
Okay, 8.
Okay. I will go with Trump 10, Hillary 7.
Okay, not much difference there. Okay. The reason I guess I would score Hillary higher is because, well, perhaps because Holt did go easy on her. And that might have,
that has been noted.
Yeah, it has been noted. So, but yeah, I would think that he survived it, and he got in the most zingers, substantive zingers, the real zingers. She got applause for a couple of things that weren't that devastating, I don't think. So, I mean, it was about his taxes and things like this. So that was about it. So, okay, so there we go. Quickly, we can finish up with you maybe giving Trump a couple of words of advice for the next one.
Well, my advice would be, I mean, he's shown that he can be presidential. I think that what it means to be presidential has changed, and he's the one who's changed it. Mm-hmm. So I would advise him to be more like himself in the next debate. And I would also advise him to take the gloves off. Particularly, when someone is accusing you of being a vicious person, as she did constantly, silence equals consent. That's how people see it.
Right.
And I think that vicious attacks call for strong responses. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that his responses were strong enough often when they could be. I would also advise him, I mean, this may not be possible, that he tends to get into these circular modes of speaking. And he should fight that impulse as hard as he can.
Yeah, that would have been my main thing was, get some practice in here on focusing to speak like you're in a debate rather than you're on the stump. Because, the people just don't react the same way to these sound bites, I guess. That's about as far as I'll go with that. Like I say, it's going to be the times between the debates that make the difference anyway. So, and I think, like I say, Hillary's going to get run off her feet. That's what I see. And with that, I guess we are coming to the end of our first presidential debate episode.
Episode 55 of Grace and Steel.
Is it 55? Yes.
It's 55?
Yes. Yes, indeed. 55. I'm Kevin Steele.
And I'm Kevin Michael Grace. Sadly, Josh Kramer couldn't make it. We'll try to get him in on the next one.